Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Abington Board of School Directors. I note the attendance of all board members. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Bless you. The Abington Board of School Directors has convened this evening's meeting at the Administration Building, and the public is welcome. This meeting is also being broadcast live on the Abington School District YouTube channel. This meeting is being recorded and will be accessible on the district's website and cable channel no later than Friday, October 25th, 2024, to allow those members of the public who cannot participate to view the proceeding at a later time. Comments from citizens will be conducted in person and by phone. Information regarding participating remotely in public comment will be displayed on the screen at the time of public comment, and the board thanks the public in advance for its cooperation. This is a place where we hold dignity and respect in high regard. Both your voices and your presence are welcome in this space. Dr. Fetcher, do we have any additional announcements or agenda items this evening?
Yes, Mrs. Brown. I'm proud to announce that the Abington School District was ranked among the best school districts in Pennsylvania, according to the website niche.com and its list of the 2025 best schools and districts. We are awarded an overall A grade with the key categories evaluated being academics, diversity, teachers, college prep, clubs and activities, and administration. Further, I am proud to share that our Abington Senior High School's Active Academy was featured in the annual Top Schools issue of Philadelphia Magazine. The October issue included an overview of the program's unique offerings, highlighted the vocational opportunities and independent living skills provided to our students who are 18 to 21 years old.
Excellent. All great things. Are there any additional items to be brought about from my fellow board members before we begin with opening comments? Okay, Mr. Allen.
Good evening, everyone.
Ms. Frazier.
Hi, everyone. The artwork is a fabulous prelude to our meeting.
Ms. Eisenhart.
Good evening, all, and welcome. Great to see you all here tonight.
Dr. Mowry.
Nice to see everyone here tonight, and congratulations to the district on being recognized for its excellence.
Ms. Spalding.
Good evening, everybody.
Mr. Muhammad.
Good evening.
Ms. Fazy.
Good evening, everyone.
Ms. Hartman.
Thanks for coming out, everyone.
And it is a pleasure to see everyone's faces and to enjoy the artwork and get to speak to some of the artists before I was able to walk in here this evening. Dr. Fetcher, please proceed with this evening's honors.
For our first honor this evening, I would like to invite Dr. Swift to recognize our Abington Senior High School student, Xavier Watson Green, the October 2024 Student of the Month at Eastern Center for Arts and Technology.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the Board of Directors, Superintendent Dr. Fetcher, and our esteemed families this evening. I don't see Xavier in the audience, although I did tell him to be here, but we're going to celebrate him regardless. October Student of the Month, Xavier Watson Green, an Abington Senior High School student, is the October 2024 Student of the Month at Eastern Center for Arts and Technology in Willow Grove. Xavier is being recognized for his outstanding work in Eastern's Protective Services Program. The Student of the Month Award is sponsored by Eastern's faculty, the Joint Operating Committee, and the Willow Grove Rotary Club to highlight student excellence, success, and service. 10 students each year are selected for this honor. Xavier's father, stepmom, uncle, and grandfather all serve as Philadelphia first responders, instilling in him a deep understanding of the importance of helping others from a young age. At 14, Xavier joined the Roslyn Fire Company's Explorer program, designed for individuals interested in firefighting at an early age. He continued to volunteer with them and became a full-fledged member over a year ago. One of Xavier's favorite aspects of being a volunteer firefighter is being there for people at their worst moments. Recognizing Xavier's passion for helping others, his Abington Junior High School principal suggested that he explore the Protective Services program at Eastern. Shortly after joining the class, Xavier was identified as a potential leader, prompting his instructor, Mr. Michael Raggi, to select him to attend the Career and Technical Student Organization, or CTSO, Leadership Conference in the Poconos. With his outstanding and engaging personality, he was also chosen to speak to the 10th grade class of Abington Senior High School during Eastern's Career Expo presentation. As a junior, he was selected by his peers to be class sergeant, which is a rank of honor and leadership in his class. Xavier has attained his Fighter 1 certification through Eastern's partnership with Bucks County Community College. And at Eastern's May 2024 awards night, Xavier was awarded the prestigious Director's Award, recognizing him for his great potential for future leadership. Xavier was one of only 5 students who received this award out of the 19 outstanding students that were interviewed. Xavier comes from a long line of individuals who are dedicated to helping others, said his teacher, Mr. Michael Raggi, Eastern's Protective Services instructor. He strives to be a role model in the class and a positive influence on his classmates. His upbeat personality and confidence will take him far in his career. Following graduation from Abington Senior High School and Eastern, Xavier plans to join the Philadelphia Fire Academy, and he also plans to become an EMT and obtain his Firefighter 2 certification. And I don't believe he's here, but if we could all give him a round of applause. And there's his instructor, and of course myself. This was the day that he was awarded the honor. We happened to go to the school, and his director took us around, and we found him, and there he is. So he is an outstanding. I know it's Dr. Fetcher's one of his faves too.
Yeah, so I'd be remiss if I didn't say Xavier is a student leader, and when we have events around the school, he ensures that he helps from a student perspective, but also the knowledge that he has gained with safety and security to make sure that our students enjoy the experience, but they also look to him for guidance as well. And I've had the pleasure of working with him over the years in different capacities, and I am really proud of him, and I know he's going to go really far. And if he were here, hopefully he hears this, but I couldn't be more excited that he received this award as the superintendent record now for Eastern School. I had the privilege to attend the Eastern board meeting as well, and where he was recognized, and to hear the many things about him just warmed my heart, and I'm excited to hear where he goes in the future. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Excellent. Outstanding. Outstanding, outstanding. I look forward to shaking his hand the next time I come across him to congratulate him on such a prestigious honor. Dr. Fetcher, please continue with this evening's honors.
Yes, the next honor, where I imagine some people are in the room to be here for. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Matthew Harris, Supervisor of Fine Arts, and the art teachers to come forward. In our building, the 2023-2024 Abington School District Art Exhibit is in the administration building, and we have the pieces of artwork, some around this room, and as you see in the hallways. I am one of the people that gets to benefit from seeing that artwork on a daily basis. So I'm going to ask that Dr. Harris, if you could present the exhibit.
Good evening, and thank you, Mrs. Brown, Dr. Fetcher, and Board of Directors, and welcome student artists and families. We're really glad you could join us this evening. Some of our students have even journeyed straight from practices or rehearsals elsewhere, so we're really glad you could make the time. It's a special night for us here. And we very enthusiastically are here to honor our student artists as we share this year's art exhibit. The art faculty have worked with the students to select the artwork being presented tonight. And it is important to note that this was created during last school year. So as we recognize students, we do recognize that it happened in a place and time in that grade in those classes. These student works capture pretty remarkable points of pride for us in the visual art world with regard to student achievement, growth, and their commitment to learning. And we're going to conclude tonight with honoring several secondary students who actually competed in and won awards for artwork they created here in our classes. And before we launch right into that, we do want to recognize that on a district level, the Pennsylvania Art Education Association has recognized us as being an outside visual arts community again this year. And I believe this is our 4th consecutive year. So we're very happy to share that with everybody. And I do note that that designation criteria focuses on identifying school districts where visual arts programming is rigorous, inclusive, accessible, and visible. We have many points of pride when we consider those aspects here, and it's always something we're working to improve on as well. And as we view this artwork tonight, you're going to see and hear our students being named individually. They are going to then walk across the front area here to their teachers who will be giving them certificates, and then they'll line up over here. You will hear me announce at the conclusion of this segment that there will be a photo in the lobby, and we'll guide you through all of it. So without any further ado, Ms. Dana Field is recognizing our student artwork from Copper Beach Elementary School tonight. And we begin with Olive Coots for their work titled Gumball Machine. And next we honor Sawyer Gellert for the work titled Penguins.
Good job.
Next we have an untitled piece by Mariah Massey. And next, we recognize Grayson Thompson for their work, which is untitled. Very interesting.
Crocs.
And next, we honor Jacob Bilbao for their Playful Pig artwork.
Love it.
And next, Ms. Cassie Donahue is recognizing student artwork from Highland Elementary School. And here we begin with Weston Olinger for their work titled The Great Wave. And next, we recognize Josephine Daly for Pastel Tree. And next, Ms. Donna Czar is recognizing student artwork from McKinley and Overlook Elementary Schools. We are starting with Eamon Corey for Monet Bridge. And Santiago Avarena for Vine with Flowers. Next, Zinni Wang for Koru Art. Next, we recognize Alethea Doherty for Fox.
That's really nice.
And next, we recognize Chase Nash for a lovely self-portrait.
Aw.
And next is Mila Raver for Heart. as Mrs. Field continues recognition for our student artwork from Roslyn Elementary School.
Do you guys want to move down to the chair? Get some space. Take up the front row here.
Thank you. And next we recognize Cameron Schmielk for Tiger. And Ms. Donahue will be recognizing student artwork from Rydell and Willow Hill Elementary Schools. We recognize Anastasia Kabertsanya for Cherry Blossom and Vase. And next, Connie Lee for Warm, Cool Sky. Kathleen Chen for Cat's Eye. And next is Nikki Dong for Nikki's Cat's Eye. Next, we recognize Soleil Smith for Chinese New Year celebration. And next, we recognize Yelisaveta Dembarinska for Balloons in Flight. And finally, for our elementary artwork group, we recognize Amelia Librand for this untitled work. Please join us in congratulating our student artists who created work while in their elementary schools. So just 1 second. Just 1 second. Are there any questions for the group?
There is always encouragement for our young people. So I just want to thank you for sharing your work. I am so impressed by you. If you draw because it's fun, can you raise your hand? Draw because it's fun. If you draw because it's therapeutical and makes you feel good, could you raise your hand? Love it. If you draw because you want to inspire other people, could you raise your hand? Excellent. That's what I got from looking at your work. It was fun, it was therapeutical, and it inspired me. So thank you so much. Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to say that I would like to wear some of this art. I could envision a silk screen machine. I don't know if we have one, but so that we could make, print these on T-shirts or maybe mugs. So maybe this time next year, we could actually purchase them outside. But nonetheless, like I said, I like to wear some of your art if possible. So talk to your teachers about that possibility.
The imagination, the color, the use of the skill in the art is phenomenal, and you all should be so proud of yourselves for standing up here and being recognized. Thank you for sharing your work with all of us.
I just want to say I'm equally impressed and wish that I had that talent. My art career ended in kindergarten when I spilled the paint in the drawer and got in trouble. That was my first time in trouble, too. But I wanted to just, thank you for your efforts, your creativity. It's inspiring, and maybe it's something I'll take up later in life. Thanks.
Thank you.
So at this time, the art faculty will now lead these students to the lobby for photos as we continue recognizing students in our secondary art programs. So families of students honored so far, you are welcome to join those students in the lobby if you'd like to also take photos with the student artists and faculty members. Thank you so much. So as we continue with our recognitions tonight, we're focusing on students who created artwork in our middle school and our high school programs. And from the middle school tonight, recognizing student artwork from there is Ms. Trin Nguyen, Ms. Kelly Steinlage, and Ms. Alicia Weber. And we begin with Luke Cunningham for the piece titled Identity Still Life. And next, we recognize Michelle Bennett for Face Mask. And Maya Alexander for Digital Scratch Art. And Grace Zhang for FINE Portrait. And at this time, Ms. Nicole Caracciolo, Mr. Dave Farrow, and Ms. Catherine Shields will begin with our recognitions for high school artwork. And we begin here with Noelle Thomas for her self-portrait. And Leora Larson for Food Frenzy. And Madison McMahon for Let Them Be. And Kate Arabchuk for Butterfly Origami. And Haley Karen for Water Droplet. And Nora Spurrier for Irish Cottage. And to conclude this evening's presentation, we're going to honor, like I mentioned before, some of these fine students in front of us who, beyond the bounds of our community, receive recognition in art competitions for works they entered with support from their faculty here. We recognize Reynold Cowdery for self-portrait. Brandon Bacordo for geocentrism. Mina Fuji for just resting. Clea Hassa for A Mother's Love. And Madison McMahon for Let Them Be. These juried art competitions span the United States Congressional Art Competition, as well as several regional and state competitions as well. This includes the Scholastic Organization, the Pennsylvania Association of Arts Educators, as well as the very local Wharton Esherick imprint contest. So we're very proud of all of our student artists tonight. Please join me in congratulating them. Any comments or questions?
Always for our young people. I am truly amazed. Breathtaking work. There is still a lot for me to learn. I was looking at some of the techniques that were written at the bottom of the page, and I can't honestly pronounce some of them, which means I need to talk to some of you guys over tea or something like that to know about your style, your technique, what inspires you, because I'm just amazed and speechless. So I'll leave it to my fellow colleagues to say more. Great job.
Thank you so much for adding so much beauty to the world and to our community. Everything that I saw presented tonight with this group as well as the earlier group is just a testament to all the greatness that you all contribute to our community. And thank you for bringing your talents into this space and into your schools and helping to make it a better place.
I just want to add, it's beautiful to see what you do. So please continue to share it, and don't ever stop creating, because you have a gift and you never know how it can impact another person. So please keep at it. And thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing your gift with all of us.
As President Brown said about having tea and discussing this, this evokes a lot of questions, which I think probably great art is supposed to do. I wonder what the artist was doing or thinking about this. Super talented and incredible. Some of the emotion that comes through, it's hard to believe on a Chromebook. I can feel emotion from work created from you guys. And that is an incredible gift that you have the ability to evoke that out of people through your artistic work. Keep sharing it, as my fellow board members have shared. Thank you.
And I just want to take an opportunity on behalf of the district to thank you for representing us well. And I know that some of the levels of the awards that you received go far beyond what anyone would think of accomplishing. And it is stiff competition, and you did a great job and brought all the talents that you have and the creativity out there to the world, representing Abington School District and yourself. And as superintendent, I just want to thank you for doing that, and to let our program shine. I know that our arts program here is significant and very important to us, and our teachers in those positions work very hard to help you achieve this. And I just want to say it's a proud moment, and thank you for all that you did.
Thank you. And at this time, the art faculty will now lead the students into the lobby for their photo. And parents and community members, families, you are welcome to join them for those photographs. And yes, thank you. Again, it is our honor and privilege to share this exhibit with you each year. And I'd just like to close by recognizing the administration, the board, the faculty, the family members, and the community for all the support you provide to us and our arts programming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. And I know moving forward, Dr. Fetcher, you've created space for students to be honored in a slightly different setting where the night is all about them and not about board business as well. Did you want to speak on that just a little bit?
Sure. What we have done, this, as you heard, the art that was featured tonight was from last school year. And for this school year, what we have done toward the end of the year is created a special board meeting to honor our students for academics as well as for our arts program. And that program we have made a decision to do in the high school auditorium so that it's not as tight or jammed as it is here, and so that more people could bring more individuals and to truly celebrate the students.
Yep, I love that, and thank you for that. We'll move forward with agenda item number 3, which is comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comment is 267-715-3717 and is featured on the screen at this time. You may call in on your landline or mobile phone. There are also mics within the room to the right and left of you. Please be sure to state your name and address.
So Joe Rooney, I live in Ardsley. A little tough to make the transition from what was going on to this, but I'll do my best. I'm sure it's difficult for you all too. I'm going to roll back to last week with the meeting. I'll start with a couple of quick questions. Why was there no comment section during the meeting? where people could get up and ask questions or call in. That seemed inappropriate. And the second one was, who authorized the person reading the questions to edit the substance of a question? And why did that happen? This is a hugely important decision that you all are being asked to be made, and you're not allowing people to ask direct questions, and then when they go through a filter, somebody's telling that person to edit their questions, and that's not right. So the next thing I'm going to go is I wrote in a question, and I asked, how much is this going to cost? Because ICS was hired to create a propaganda campaign to convince Abington and Rockledge residents to willingly vote to increase their taxes by up to $500 million for a bond. You all are the ones who are going to saddle all of us with a 25-year mortgage on all of our properties. And I don't see how you have gotten enough information yet to make that decision. So, what's going on? First, why are we starting with $200 to $250 million? Why don't we start with what's our problem and how can we solve this for 5 years? And then take 5 years to look at possible solutions, okay? And then project forward from that. And again, I've got 3 minutes here, so I'll roll here and then you'll tell me to shut up and I'll go on. So I'm just going to tell people right now, and you all may have done the math or not. I know this gentleman is a businessman, and we have one teacher here who teaches equity math, so I know they're sharp on the numbers. What do I got? 1 minute, goodness gracious. Okay, if for every $100 million bond that we borrow, assuming there's 22,000 tax accounts, that means houses and businesses, that comes out to be roughly $400 per tax account per year, and my assumptions are 6% in 25 years for $100 million. So you're voting on increasing our taxes $400 a year per $100 million. So at $250 million, that's $1,000 for every house on the 300 block of Maple Avenue and the 700 block of Maple and over on Old Welsh Road and wherever else. But we want $250 million to $500 million. So at $500 million, that's you're asking people to vote for a tax increase of $1,932.90 for 25 years. You're voting on having people willingly put a mortgage on their houses for 25 years. I don't know if you want any more information or you want me to stop.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
You all are 9 people.
Thank you for your
I'd like to hear
time
one more
and
minute.
for your voice.
I
You
have
may
lots
have
more
a seat,
information,
and as you
and
know,
that's
there
it.
is another comment section.
This
Thank
is
you so much for
instructive
understanding
everybody.
that your time
You
is up.
need to hear
You may
dissenting
have
and
a seat,
alternative
and there is a
opinions.
second
Please look
opportunity
out
for you
your
to speak.
neighbors.
Thank you so much. There are mics to the left and to the right of you. If there's anyone else within the room who would like to speak. Yes, sir. Hello.
D. Adcock, 1714 Brook Road, Bridle, Abington, Jenkintown. Let's see. I'm not sure what I was just hearing, but $500 million is a lot of money. 6.5%, 6%, just the interest on that comes if you had 1,000 students going there. How many students go to the junior high school? Can someone answer that? Okay, 2,200. Just the junior high school. Okay. Anyway, if it were only 1,000, so cut it in half. If it were 2,000, there's $16,000 a year that is going to cost us just in interest per year forever. And that doesn't even include the cost of teachers or administrators or janitors or anyone that it takes to run the place. I don't know, the finances and the numbers that you're looking at and talking about just don't seem to make any sense to me. And I guess that's primarily what I have to say. How much does it cost us to educate one student per year? I mean, for a year. There's a good question. $23,000 K through 12. $23,000. Why doesn't anyone answer? No, this is just for me to talk. I'm sorry. 23,000. I'll go with 23,000. I mean, we should be able to fund it out. tuition and just pay interest on what it cost us to rebuild an entire $500 million building. And that doesn't even cost the cost of education of them. We would still have to add on to that the cost of educating them. And I guess that's it. I mostly have blank stares, so if there's no questions, I would be happy to at least entertain them. I've got a minute remaining, but I don't think I'm allowed.
Thank you. There are mics to the left and to the right of you. If there's anyone else in the room who would like to make a comment. Mr. Green, can you confirm that there are no callers on the line?
We do not have any callers on the line.
Thank you so much. Dr. Fetcher?
Yes, I just want to encourage, if there are questions, to submit any questions through our portal, which is online, and also any of the presentations and information that has been presented out there is also available, and the history of that information will be kept online as well.
Definitely. It is found on our microsite, including the feasibility studies that dates back prior to 5 years ago, where we have looked to see what can we hold, how much does it cost, and things of that nature. So thank you so much for bringing that to the public's attention. If there are no additional comments from Dr. Fetcher or myself, we'll move forward with agenda item number 5. Mr. Muhammad, can you please read the recommendation to approve the personnel addenda?
It is a recommended action that the Board of School Directors approves the changes in personnel as reflected in Personnel Addenda numbers 5.1, 5.1A, and confidential personnel addendas, addenda numbers 5.1B and 5.1C.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher?
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. The personnel addenda begins with the request for leaves of absence for 1 administrative staff member, 3 professional staff members, appointment of 3 professional employees, and the change of status for 1 professional staff member. Personnel addendum continues with compensation for IEP meetings, interpreter, and translation services. I bring your attention to the appointment of Mr. Cody Kroll for the vehicle mechanic position in the transportation department. Mr. Kroll is a 2023 graduate of Abington Senior High School and was Eastern Student of the Month in January of 2023 for his outstanding work in Eastern's Automotive Technology Program. So we are very happy to have our graduates come back.
That is outstanding.
I also bring to your attention the retirement of Miss Bernadette Bolin, a first grade teacher at Copper Beach Elementary School who has served the district for 32 years.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? As always, we want to say thank you to our retirees. Over 30 years is a very long time to serve. And thank you for everything that you've attributed to Copper Beach. Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Balding? Aye. Mr. Muhammad?
Aye.
Ms. Feasy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Mr. Muhammad, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the financial report?
It is a recommended action that the Board of School Directors approves the financial report for the period ending September 30th, 2024, as reflected in addendum number 6.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher?
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. I'm going to ask that Mr. O'Neill, if you could please summarize the September 2024 financial report.
Thank you, Dr. Fetcher. With regard to revenue, as of September 30, we received $123.5 million, which is 65.6% of the $188.4 million revenue budget. As of September 2023, we had collected $116.2 million, which was 65.2% of budgeted revenue. Year to date, we are $7.3 million ahead of last year, which is due to several factors that include the Act 1 index real estate tax increase, earned income tax collections, delinquent tax collections, and earnings on investments. Regarding expenses, year to date, we expended $33.2 million of our $199.6 million budget, which equates to 16.7%. For the same time period last year, $35.7 million was expended, which was 18.8% of the then $189.9 million budget. This concludes the financial summary for September.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you.
Answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? The floor is open. Okay. Mrs. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Mr. Muhammad?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Mr. Mohammed, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the payment of bills?
It is the recommended action that the Board of School Directors approves the payment of bills for the period ending September 30th, 2024, as reflected in addendum number 7.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the payment of bills.
Thank you. Questions from my fellow board members? Your mics are open. Mrs. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Mr. Muhammad?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Mr. Muhammad, can you please read the recommendation for permits for the use of buildings and grounds?
It is the recommended action that the Board of School Directors approves the applications for permits for use of buildings and grounds as reflected in addendum number 8.1.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. The permit addendum continues to reflect typical requests for buildings and grounds for meetings and other school activities for this time of year.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the board? Again, I always like to take this opportunity to thank community members, PTO members, staff members for leading clubs, which allow students to really gain a sense of community outside of the school day. So thank you so much for that. Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Mr. Muhammad?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Mr. Muhammad, can you please read the recommendation for awards of contracts?
It is a recommended action that the Board of School Directors approves the awards of contracts as reflected in addendum number 9.1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. This evening, we have one award of contract and one rejection of bid. And the first is for the award of contract for email security software. And the rejection of bid is for the playground renovations for the elementary schools. This rejection is due to the fact that there was only one contractor bid received, in addition to inaccuracy in cost noted by the contractor, as well as the need to restructure the anticipated sequence of renovations project due to the current consideration of Copper Beach Elementary School as a potential middle school or grades 5 and 6 school.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
I was noticing here under events, Office of Congresswoman Madeline Dean Town Hall meeting for October 28th. And I take it she will not be here in person, or will she be here in person at the Little
Are
Theater?
you speaking for the buildings and grounds, or are you talking about the awards for board approval for contracts that we're
Buildings
currently running?
and- Wait a minute, one moment.
We just approved that one for permits.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but I noticed it later. I was looking over the details of it. And I was wondering if there's anyone here that could answer that question. If she will be here. in
Let
person.
us vote on this first.
Sure.
And then we can entertain that question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments about the agenda item at hand? Mrs. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Mr. Muhammad?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Please ask your question.
I was looking over, let me go find the title, one moment. Where was this? Permits. Buildings and grounds. Under events, October 18th. It says that there's an event at the Little Theater from 7 to 9, Office of Madeline Dean. So I'm wondering if she will be here in person or will someone be there to represent her office? Does anyone know? If not,
I know that it's a nonpartisan event, and it was a request for the space to be used, to my knowledge, and I'll let Dr. Fetcher speak as far as her presence.
Yes, I believe she'll be in attendance.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from my fellow board members? Thank you so much. Sir, this is not your opportunity to speak, but there is a time for you to ask questions, and that is during the second portions of comments. Thank you so much.
And I'd like
this
to
time, we will
apologize.
move forward.
Sorry, I'd like to
Thank you.
apologize for speaking out of turn.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Advertisement for bids is where we are now with agenda item number 10. Mr. Muhammad, can you please read the recommendation for advertisements for bids?
It is the recommended action that the Board of School Directors approves the advertisement for bids as reflected in addendum number 10.1.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
This is a rebid of the playground renovations for the elementary schools.
Questions or comments from the board? Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Mr. Muhammad?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Mr. Muhammad, can you please read the recommendation for the bus patrol agreement?
It is the recommended action that the Board of School Directors authorize the administration to sign the amendment for receipt and installation of GPS and two-way radio equipment as a part of the Bus Patrol America LLC agreement with Abington School District.
Second.
We have a second, Dr. Fetcher.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. There are additional changes that need to be made to the agreement with Bus Patrol America. I'm going to ask Dr. Melchor if you could please review those changes.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Fetcher. Following the board's initial approval of an agreement with Bus Patrol in August, it was realized that inadvertently there were two pieces of equipment that had been referenced during the meeting and were contemplated that were not actually part of the agreement. Those are the two-way radios and Zonar. FirstNet is the two-way radio replacement communication system for the transportation fleet that will allow for unlimited coverage and replaces the existing 28-year-old radio system that is currently being used. Zonar is the GPS technology that will integrate with the parent app and provide real-time time and mileage reports. Both of these pieces of equipment will be provided at no cost, and this continues to be a no cost to the district for implementation of Bus Patrol.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
One question. In general, when will Bus Patrol provide data to the district on violations, that it gave citations for? Is that annually? Is it quarterly?
Monthly.
I believe it's. Don't hold me, but I believe it's quarterly. Quarterly. Okay. I would be interested to see what the red light violations are, because I do notice school.
Well, for that, I believe we'll have, there is an account we'll be able to see those, as they occur.
Okay.
I thought you meant for the revenue.
Oh, the dollar amount? I'm thinking no, do they issue, is it 5 tickets per month? Is it 50 tickets per month?
It depends on the number of violators that actually go through the.
No, I totally understand. I'm curious. So when will we get data that how many tickets are being issued for red light, if that's the right term, red light violation? I understand it's based on who breaks the law, but.
I believe it's as the. I see this. I know he's not supposed to be doing that. We'll see that through our account.
Okay, so when will, I guess, will be reported to the board and on a quarterly basis, annually basis? So my idea of Bus Patrol is that it's to reduce people from violating the red lights. So I'm curious how many violations, like, do we start now because it's fresh with, I'll make up a number, 50, but then next year it's down to 3 because districts all over the place are implementing this. So I'm not necessarily looking for the dollar amount, just like how many violations are issued from Abington school buses. And I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just like what the number is. What's the timeline? Do we expect it to be semester? If we don't know, that's fine.
I mean, we can definitely provide the board with that information.
Am I being clear on what I'm asking?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry.
So each violation, how many, and I would probably do it in a quarter, and I can present that information to you, so you have that.
And maybe a quarter doesn't make sense. I'm not proposing that, but that works, Dr. Fetcher. Thank you.
Well, I can communicate it daily if you'd like, but but I will.
If that's an option.
Be more than happy to.
First
I
thing
think
you
we'll
do every
we'll start
morning,
with
how many tickets?
quarterly.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from my fellow board members? Ms. Flanagan?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Eisenhart?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Ms. Spalding?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye. Ayes have it and motion passes. Dr. Fetcher, any additional reports for this evening?
Yes, Mrs. Brown. I provide the conference attendance and professional leaves for your information. I'd like to bring your attention to Dr. Julia Zarco, our school psychologist, who will be presenting at the Association of School Psychologists Fall Conference on November 13th, 2024. She's part of a panel discussion focusing on the benefits and challenges of supervising practicum students and or interns.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Anything to be brought up by my fellow school board members at this time? Okay. We will move back to public comment. Public comment. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comments is 267-715-3717 and is on the screen at this time. You may call in using your landline or mobile phone. There are mics to the left and to the right of you if you are within the room and you would like to speak. And before we begin time, I just want to, especially if this is your first time, knowing that you do have 3 minutes, it is a time for the board to hear your concerns, which is why it's called public comment. We honor your voice in that regard. For community members who struggle with 3 minutes, I will remind you that your time is over, and you're also reminded by the yellow placard card. In the event that you're struggling to adhere to that, please know that there are other things that could happen. For example, your mic could be cut off where no one will be able to hear you but me. So please use your time wisely, respect the environment because you are being respected and your voices are being heard. You have 3 uninterrupted minutes. Thank you so much.
Before I start,
You have just started.
has the opportunity to extend public comment.
You have
and
just
any
started.
board member represents the citizens. So I have 3 minutes. This is what happens if you get the lowest price, $200+ million. If somebody makes $18 an hour, okay, that's roughly $1,000 a year you're adding to their tax bill. It takes 55.5 hours, but wait, there's still taxes, so that adds another 13.8 hours. So you were voting to increase and not add 9 days of work to someone making $18 an hour. Now, the teachers here make, somewhere between $51,000 and $92,000 a year, so they're way above that. Our superintendent has just got a 5.3% bump to $268+ K a year. The guys who you voted on last month, remember, you got 1%, he gets an automatic 5.3%. That's how we treat our normal workers here. And the teachers are 184 days a year. So that's what you have to think. So now I have some ideas. Look 5 years ahead. Why wasn't the middle school maintained? Why did we waste the $50 million special fund that was available to do capital projects? So here's some ideas. Number 1, empty the middle school of all the junk in it. I've walked through it. It's a dump. When you walk through, the classrooms were dirty. They were full of stuff. Get it all out of there. We don't need 35,000, which is 0.8 of an acre, more classroom space. The wind tunnel, pieces of junk, clean the whole school, and then let's see what we got. We should look at that before we make our decision. Develop a 5-year plan. We include the admin building, Ardsley School, the Rockledge Elementary, and what else is available. Now here it goes. This is the good part. Number one, we're going to start. Fire half the administrators in the school district, okay? Start with the assistant superintendent. We can find somebody else, give them a job teaching. The admin building, empty it by half, all right? DEI experts, the counselors, social workers, psychologists, review them all. If you're not a teacher, there's a thing in a teacher's contract where teachers can work for extra pay and do these ancillary jobs. There are more than enough qualified, excellent people to do these jobs. If people are in them right now, put them in a classroom. If they're good teachers, great. If they're bad teachers, fire them. We got to start somewhere. We have to discuss it. We've got 27 minutes of this whole meeting right now. I'll talk for 6 minutes of it. You guys don't. Let's spend 30 minutes talking about raising our neighbors' taxes by $500 million every single meeting. Let's have a discussion on the first $100 million, then the second $100 million, then the third. Then let's explain to my neighbor who's lost his job how they're going to meet that. These are all reasonable discussions. You represent everybody here, not the people making $250,000 a year, or not the people who are intoxicated on spending $500 million. You represent my neighbors. Please,
Thank
I'm
you
asking you.
so much
We
for your
need a
time,
lion.
and thank
We
you
don't
so
need
much for your
9
voice.
sheep. One
Your
lion,
time
you're
is now
there.
up, and you
Come
may
on,
take a
guys
seat.
and gals.
Thank you very much. There are mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address.
Has there been a study done on renovating the school that apparently is being replaced? I guess I'm just here to talk to deaf mutes. I guess questions are not appropriate, but it seems like they are appropriate. I don't know why a question like that from a taxpayer can't be answered. And I don't know why we would be spending the amount of money or even thinking about it that we're talking about to put $25,000 mortgage on each residence in the whole township. Why would we be adding so much capital expense, to say nothing of the operating expenses that we already have? Are we trying to become the most expensive township in the county or in the nation? What is the point of this? Making sure that we are able to keep people employed, making sure we can have teachers and administrators and all kinds of extra special people. It's a way to keep people employed, I suppose. But I guess it keeps everyone up here, everyone here employed. But it just seems to me to be absurd. As I said, the correct number would be more like $14,700 is just the interest on $500 million for 2,200 students. And that's just interest, not principal and not operational costs. You certainly could make a case for supporting people who wanted to have their children educated perhaps somewhere else, and in a private school, a parochial school, or whatever school. Do it for half the price. And you could save the taxpayers money instead of putting them all in significant additional debt.
Thank you. Dr. Fetcher?
The only comment that I have is in regard to there was a question about, has there been a study done? There's a feasibility study that's online to reference that where these options have come out of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that feasibility study also includes how much money it takes to maintain our current building over time. I don't want us to lose, and then we'll get ready to close out. I don't want us to lose focus over something that I heard over public comment, and I do take down what I hear from public comment, no matter who it comes from. Is that the focus does not seem to be on the children in these conversations, and I want to make sure that that is always a part of the conversation. How are children benefiting from plans that the district is entertaining? How do children benefit from having environments that match the curriculum that we're trying to teach them? Let us not lose focus of that and make sure that that is always a part of the conversation. The questions and comments and concerns that are posed during public comment, especially as it relates to our middle school, those voices are very important. They are. And the concerns that you are posing are very important. They are. And that's why I'm so thankful that the company that the district has hired does take into account not only your voice, but the voices of the community, where 70% of the people who live here do not send children to this district. However, they have made statements through surveys that says, we know that something has to change. We want to be informed about what those changes are. I do agree that people need to know how much it costs, which is why the board will not make a decision in January until community members are clear about how much is going to cost them. So much so that the speaker, give me his last name from ICS.
Solomon.
Mr. Solomon shared that he is working on a calculator so that people can type in their individual information about their household and understand the impact that any of those four options will have on their own finances. So the goal is to make sure that community members are well informed. The goal is to make sure that we hear from community members, not just from the few, but from as many through scientific study as well as volunteer surveys, and that decisions are made informed decisions are made based on the feedback that we get from community members. With that being said, if there's nothing else from my fellow board members, we will have closing comments from you all. Okay. Starting with Mr. Allen.
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Frazier.
A couple of things. Thank you for clarifying, Mrs. Brown. I appreciate that. Also, bands in the Boneyard. Is this coming Saturday? I will be out of town. Otherwise, I'd love to be there. I hope you guys could get out and enjoy the festivities.
Ms. Eisenhart.
Nothing. Good night.
Dr. Mowry.
I just wanted to thank Mrs. Brown for reminding everyone who's here and who may be watching the meeting of the input process for community members, because it's really important. So if you're here and you have concerns, please encourage your neighbors, your friends to participate in the process. That's a big part of this for us. No decision has been made, nor will it be made until we have adequate information. So I want to make sure that everybody who may be listening tonight understands that. And I think that's all for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Spalding.
Everybody, if you have not already done so, please vote in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much. Mr. Muhammad.
oneasd.onefuture.org. All the information in regards to the past several years of this process regarding the middle school project. It's there. You can also post your questions and get answers to your questions. Ms. Brown, thank you for referencing the calculator tool that will be developed for residents of Abington and Rockledge, so that you will know what the potential impact will be with accurate math. That's all I got. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you so much. Ms. Fazy.
Take good care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hartman.
Have a good night, everyone.
Dr. Fetcher.
Just want to make an announcement that as Veterans Day precedes our next board meeting, I wanted to announce that we are going to be honoring our employees again this year, but it does come on the 12th, the day after. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you so much. Everyone have a good night. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time.